I still hate that intro, but I got to bob my head to do it, Lyle. We need more pictures, folks. For those of you who weren't here last week, I'll ask again at the end of the show. I'm looking for some photos of you guys. We're going to make a bumper here to start the show off. This way people have time to watch whatever ads that YouTube shows before we get going real quick. So that's what's going on. I got about 10 pics. I'd like to get about 20 more. So Josh, see Creo, Mike Irvin, 922. You guys got any panfish or panfish type pictures that I can put together for a little beginner video? I sure would appreciate it. You can send them to mark@catfishandcrappie.com. That's mark@catfishandcrappie.com. Welcome to Panfish Nation. My name is Mark, the co-host of Mr. Lyle Stokes. How you doing, Lyle?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We got a great guest today, don't we?
We do. And a little background on that. Cindy and I was at Walmart the other day, grocery shopping, and we got to leave Buffalo to get anything. Our Walmart's pretty tiny. So who'd I run into at the Walmart over in Bolivar? But Eric, and we had quite a conversation, and that's how this show would come about, was standing out in the parking lot discussing a few things. And I think it's going to make a fun show, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But Eric's already catching fish, so that was cool. One.
Yeah. One is better than none, that's for sure.
That officially makes it a fishing show.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
How you doing, Eric?
I ain't doing bad. I'm cooking in the sunlight, though. I didn't really
Well,
be.
It won't be long. It'll be dark.
Yeah.
Mark, why don't we say hello to everybody in chat before we get started?
We could definitely do that. I see 922 Crappie Barbecues here, and that's catfishing. How you doing, Miss Annette? Can't wait to start seeing some flathead pictures on Facebook from you, dear. There's me. There's Creo. What's up, Creo? I hear you guys had a good show last night. I was out at my father's house like I am every Tuesday night. Sorry I missed that, bud, but good job from what I hear. Mark Irvin in the house. How you doing, Mike Irvin? I apologize. Josh, the weekend angler, causing trouble already. Did you see that, Lyle? And then Wabash Nate. Yeah. What's going on, Nate? How you doing, bud? That's who's here so far. We got more people coming in, though, I imagine. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do. Look at that. Creel says, I was in New Madrid for a little while yesterday. Work is slowing, bringing me closer to Lyle.
That's just across the state. So, you know. I'm not too good to hook up to the boat to go meet a guy like Jeremy sometime.
Jeremy, you got to come further north and we'll meet up, bud.
Yeah, I'm guessing that work probably won't let him drag his boat around. I never had a job that would allow that. So, but we'll get together one of these days and make that happen. It'd be a lot of fun. Any announcements before we get started, Mark?
Not at this time. It's just recap of my week. My boat's been down. I had to repair that brake solenoid, which you already know, but I don't think the people have to do. The lockout solenoid for going in reverse. I got that fixed today, so I'll be fishing tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I can get out there tomorrow morning, chase some more of those walleyes, and maybe Friday morning we'll see what I got going on around here, but we'll get out one of those times. I may even go live. It's a little hard to go live when you're trolling at 2 miles an hour on that little river of mine. You kind of got to keep your head in the game or you're going to run into something. So if I can make it happen, I will, folks. If I don't, I apologize in advance.
Eric, do you troll that fast for walleye too?
I don't usually. 1.5 is about as fast as I go most of the time. I did 2. And it seems like my crankbaits are wanting to start doing this. And maybe it's just the crankbaits I'm pulling versus the crankbaits you're pulling. 1.3 to 1.5 to me is the best. 1.3 I like better than just about anything.
I don't get good action unless I'm at like 1.8 with those. I use the Berkeley flicker shads. That's pretty much what they're biting on up here. I'm sorry?
Which ones? Because I use the 7s, and it seems to me like I get the worst action out of the.
Well, you got to remember, I fish on that shallow river, so I use the 5 shallows and the 4 regulars.
Oh.
And they seem to work all right. I got some 7 shallows too, but they seem to dig a little too hard. And I'm I've been trolling awfully close to weed lines, so there's still a little bit of growth. If I can keep it just off the bottom and I can get that speed dialed in, I got the line counters now, so I'm finally getting that dialed in. I got 2 limits last week, so I'm pretty happy with that.
On walleye?
A walleye, yeah. So we'll see what I can do. Maybe we'll do a little flathead fishing. If I can't get out in the morning, we'll do it at night. But I ain't gonna lie, fishing all night. I think I'm getting too old for that, Eric and Lyle.
Yeah, I might have bit off more than I could chew fishing tonight. I like my early mornings better.
I'm starting to like them too. We got some people that snuck in here. We got Crappie Day Fish on. He's a channel supporter. What's up, Crappie Day? Parker Pursuits. What's up, Jerry? How you doing, bud? And Greg Burgess is here too. 922 Crappie Barbecue. Danny Stone Outdoors. What's going on, Danny? How you doing? And Greg Burgess. I think I said hello. I'll say hello again. What's going on, Greg? How you doing, bud?
Glad they all made it. Eric, we're going to talk a little bit about things that happen in the fishing business, maybe YouTube stuff, different things. You and I talked about this the other day. There's things that happen that probably shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
and people get the red ass over stuff they probably ought to just leave it alone, especially when somebody's not hurting them. But they do have rights and different things.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know how we can go about this without just doing it.
We're just going to do it. I mean, I can say the name. I can say the name of the bait I got in trouble over, which was Angry Shad.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been making this bait for a couple years, and I had a YouTube video about 8 months ago titled The Angry Shad. I've seen other people do the same thing with the exact same name. I never thought anything about it. I get a phone call one day last week from a guy from New York, and this guy is fired up mad. I mean, literally mad. And I really thought it came up New York, but he was so mad. I thought it was somebody from another country. I blew it off. I told him, go jump in a lake, and hung up on him. 3 minutes later,
You're kinder than I would have been.
Yeah. 3 minutes later, this guy calls back. And this time I can understand. It said the phone call was from New York, and I can now understand this guy's got a New York accent. And this guy's going on about how I'm a thief. I stole from him. I don't have the rights. I don't understand trademarking. I'm like, well, hold on. Wait a minute. Calm down. He wouldn't give me 2 minutes to even get, figure out what was going on. I was like, that's enough. I hung up on him. A couple minutes later goes by. He calls me back. He's like, all right, this is what's going on. He said, you've named this jig that. I've got a bait named that. And I bought the trademark name to that back in 2017. And if you don't get that video down and you don't get that name of that down off everything on social media by the end of June, we're going to take you to court. And his exact words were, you and your family are going to be sleeping on a park bench by the time I'm done with you.
See, that's a little over.
It was way overboard. So I did some research. I make sure this guy just ain't pulling my leg, because I don't understand what he's really going to get out of it if he's making it up. I mean, there's got to be something to it. So I did a little research, and yes, he's got a company that has a crankbait called the Angry Shad. To me, there's a big difference between a crankbait and a crappie jig. And I think you should be able to draw the line between a hard bait and a hand-tied bait, but you can't. According to he bought that name.
Right.
And he's honestly, I mean, he's right. I was in the wrong. After doing some research, I should have looked that up, made sure that name wasn't copyrighted or trademarked, and actually bought the name for myself. But me not thinking anybody really cared about it, well, there's some that will care about it. And most of the times they're going to care about it when you've got something in a bait shop, a big store, a retail store, and somebody says, oh, wait a minute, that's the name of my bait. Look out, because then you probably really are going to be in trouble that way. I got lucky under that circumstance, because another month from now, that could have been a whole lot worse than what it was, because of the deal I was getting ready to make with Outlaw Rods. That could have been worse. So much. So hopefully I've got it down enough to make him happy. I ain't heard back from him, and I don't know if I'm going to hear back from him. I did get an email from his lawyers. His lawyer sent me a picture of the bait, sent me the date he bought the copyright, or somebody had bought that copyright with the same name he's got. And I really think it was the guy's dad.
Yeah.
And this guy's trying to save everything he can out of this company his dad started. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
The guy had every right. Yeah, but the guy had every right to call me and call me out on it. But it sure could have been done in a different way. You know,
yeah.
Could have started out with a text message the way I would have started. Hey, this is such and such from this company. I'd like to reach out to you and talk to you about this trademark issue we got going.
Use some common sense. Yeah.
But
you know, I think
got me all bent out of shape, and I'm usually one to fight back. And by this time, by the third call, my wife's standing there and she's like, shut up, just take it down, take it off YouTube, shut up. My wife won, hands down.
Can't
she
do that. A guy ain't going to do that unless he has to.
If she
I think I told you. I think I told you over there in the parking lot of the store the other day that every time I come up with a name that's catchy or I think will work down the road, I buy that name.
Yeah,
I have a list of YouTube channel names. I have a list of fishing rod names, all registered with me. One of my best ones was Black Cat. I sold tons of Black Cat fishing rods. Somebody else tried to use that here a while back. I never said anything to them, but I can because I own it. Yep. And names of anything like that I come up with, it doesn't cost that much to do. And if I come up with that name, if I come up with something, if I wake up in the middle of the night and something hits me that I think is going to work down the road, I'll own it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is the Cat Masters. Them guys out of Texas call themselves the Cat Masters. I've owned that name for years.
Yeah.
And I offered to give it to them.
Yeah, and you're smart to do that because if you did make a rod that was under already a trademark agreement with somebody else, and say you hit it really big, and all of a sudden you're selling tons of these rods,
they come get it.
You end up losing that money. You're going to pay that money back plus whatever legal fees go on top of that.
That's right.
Cover your butt if you're making crappie jigs because this guy had the name of 7 other jig tires that named their stuff the same way, and he had even sued Strike King and won against Strike King.
If you can hit a company that size and do good, then you got something, and he knows he's got it.
And he even said, my associates troll the internet looking for these names. So there are teams of people. Their full-time job is to troll YouTube, troll Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. Somebody is watching when you do it. They might not catch it right away, like with me. You know, there was a pretty good distance there between the time he caught it, but it did end up getting caught.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, they pay companies that have bot farms and stuff, and they're constantly scrubbing the internet looking for their protected stuff. I mean,
keywords.
That's how they do it. You know, it's easier to force somebody to take that name down or quit using that name than it is to compete with them, you know, on Google or on search results, stuff like that.
But use some tact. He didn't have to be a dick to you like that.
Oh, absolutely not. He was way out of line. First off, if he's got people looking for it, he's obviously paying a service. That service should have called you. He should have had nothing to do with it. There's no reason why he should have called you.
Well, the crazy thing was this, and I'm going to say it too, this was a big name company, Penn Rods. Penn Rods have been around for a long time. So when I see rods on there, I'm like, when did Penn start making baits? So I'm doing all the research on the internet the best I can. I'm putting in the exact name of this place that he's talking about.
I want to catch a fish.
I do too. I finally got one.
Chad says, I'm claiming the name Eric Massey. You won't ever be able to use that anymore, mister.
Hey, you might be. Well,
I already got Chad Fields under copyright, so you might need a new name. So you might want to think about that, Chad.
We have a couple more people have joined us. Benoit Fishing Outdoors, Mike Irwin. I think he said hello to Mike. Josh, the Weekend Angler, Chad's in here. Matt with Wannabe Outdoors. Let's see.
Schmieder of the Sea. Small Water, what's up, John? Schmieder of the Cedars is here. What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I think that catches us up. If we miss you, don't get excited because we don't catch all of them. But if we do, we'll get you and just don't get excited. Hey, looky here,
Hey,
Channel
look at
Cat.
Eating Channel Cat tomorrow.
That's the wrong show. That's Monday's show.
Has that been beat up at all, Eric?
Huh?
Has that been beat up at all?
Oh, he's super clean. He's not been in the rocks.
Okay.
Did you put him in the
Tells
box?
me what I want to know.
Did you put him in the box or did you put him back in the water?
Oh, he's in the box. There's going to be
Good
at least
for you.
a box before I go home. I don't need any more than 3, 4, maybe.
Hey, there's Buck Williams. He has a great idea, Eric. Buck Williams says he should make a video on how much an a-hole he was. Name it Angry A-Hole Shad Maker.
Oh, I've had all kinds of people. I mean, I put it out on Facebook. I let people know, and his name was on that. I mean, there was nothing saying. I can't say who the guy was that came after me.
Mm-hmm.
It's on my Facebook page. You can go back and you can read the first email I got from him. The ones from the lawyers, I kept that one confidential, but it's out there. There was nothing saying, hey, this is a confidential email. If it would have said confidential, then to me, that would have been kind of fishy. Oh, wait a minute. Why are you trying to keep it confidential or, just trying to set people up for it? So, I mean, he was legal. Everything he did was 100% legal. I might have been able to call his bluff. Maybe. But, I don't see it being worth the fight.
No, it's not.
And it would have been
not.
a bluff. It wouldn't have been a bluff. And there would have been.
Especially because he's right,
Yeah. I mean, I was in the wrong. He was in the right. I will 100% admit that.
Protect your stuff with trademarks and copyrights if you can. I know I've went through that stuff for my channel name and that, so I got that stuff a little bit experience with that. And actually, no, I just had my wife take care of it for me, which was a big help. But going forward, do you think you're going to go that route with some stuff, Eric, or what?
Man, I don't know. It seems like every time, it just seems like there's so much that goes on in this industry of fishing. I've seen it. I've kind of seen behind the scenes, and I don't like behind the scenes of the fishing industry. And I don't like behind the scenes of this guy's going to compete with you. This guy's going to do everything he can to put you under. This guy's going to expose all your secrets. This guy's going to tell everybody your stuff's junk. It almost gets sickening sometimes. I mean, that's really honestly how I feel about it. I made a YouTube video today. I tied some jigs because I was going to be night fishing tonight. I've already had like 40 comments, people wanting to buy some of those that I tied up for today. I don't know if I want to get back into it or not. And that's the truth. I'd rather maybe try to stick with better quality fishing videos, how to, doing things that I do on the lake. I don't know. I don't know. And in a month from now, I might change my mind. I might buy up every name I can think of and just, hammer out some stuff. It's hard to say.
I told you my theory to stopping all that issues. Number them.
That's what I was thinking about doing too.
Start at number 1, and you can go to infinity with numbers, and nobody can control numbers or letters. Now, if you put them letters together and make a word, if somebody's got it, you can get in trouble with that. But just, this is number 1. This is number 105. That'll stop all that. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'll do from here on out. In fact, I'll probably go back to where I've got my jigs and flies listed and start numbering them that way.
And I'll give everybody a word of advice. You got to do your research, because I mean, look at the search engine Google. Now, Google's not a word. They just made that up because they couldn't find anything to actually name the search engine. That's some of that history of that. So they came up with a word that they just made up, and it worked. That might be the way to go to here. And Creel says we had a similar issue with the name of one of our rod series. Luckily, they were very nice about it and allowed us to sell all existing stock before the name gets changed.
And see, that's how it should have been handled.
That's
That's
exactly
how that guy should have handled with you, Eric.
Yeah, this guy, he was just irate. He named a couple other jig tires, and one of them I knew. And I looked this guy's phone number, and I called, and I talked to him before. So when he answered the phone, my name was already on the screen. And as soon as he answered the phone, he was like, I bet I know why you're calling. Well, the same guy had already called him, too. And this guy actually had them on a website. And he's like, yeah, he said, I got to go back and change that website. I got to get, because he had somebody, I guess, set his website up for him. So now he had to pay this person to go back in there and change this name of that bait. So I mean, there were several others that this guy hit.
The only thing that I know of that, and I haven't had that much problems with that. Like I say, I buy, if I think of a name, I'll buy it. But the other problem with doing stuff is shipping.
Yeah, shipping.
Shipping has got, the price of shipping has got way out of hand.
Way.
It's
unbelievable.
And rods is terrible.
Yeah.
Now, since 8-foot rods, I used to get them shipped to me reasonable. Now they have to be shipped as freight. So you have to have them all cut off at least 1 inch to where they're 7'9" to be able to get them shipped to you under the 8-foot limit, or they just breed you. That's as nice as I can put it.
It's like $30 some just for the tube, isn't it? Just
a lot of times, yeah. So it's really gotten bad. I do have a way to stop some of that on crappie rods and stuff like that. James Dockery turned me on to it. They fish a lot out of Katie's car. He's got a truck, but most of the time, let's face it, her Explorer probably gets better fuel mileage than James' truck does. Of course, James should never be allowed to drive. He can't see from one end of the truck to the other. His glasses look like the bottom end of Coke bottles. But anyhow, that's a joke. He's not like that at all. But he lets Katie drive a lot of times, and she'll sit in the car and read books while he's fishing, because if she goes fishing, she catches more fish than he does. So's his daughter. It happened the other day. It made a post about it. Kind of funny. You can look on my Facebook page and see it. I shared it. But 2-piece rods. You can ship 2-piece rods very reasonably.
Yeah.
Really can. Because you're half the length of whatever the length of the rod is. The tubes you use will be cheaper. Everything's cheaper. Now, a lot of people don't like 2-piece rods. I got that. When I'm fishing for catfish, I prefer a 1-piece rod too. But for everything else, I don't see where it matters. Even bass. Oh my God, they're a predator fish. A bass is a panfish.
Yep.
They don't put up that big a fight, regardless of what people think. And you can boat flip any of them that I've ever seen in my entire life. 2-piece rod will work. But if you want a 1-piece rod, just pay the extra to get it shipped to you. It's that simple.
But a normal order of say a dozen jigs is usually $8.50, somewhere between. And It kind of depends on who's at the post office. Some days it's $8 something, and some days it's $10.25.
That's right.
And the lady there is like, it really kind of depends on your envelope too. If your envelope's thicker or denser, it weighs a little bit more and it drives the price up a little bit more.
Did you ever try to use the regular white envelopes and put them in plastic bags and ship them?
Yeah, and I had tested them, pushed them, and ended up getting the envelopes to rip and tear.
Well, what happened to me is a lot of times they would get the envelope and there'd be nothing in it.
Yeah.
They just get an empty envelope. So I get by the yellow manila envelopes, and that's what I
found these little bitty ones on, I think it was Amazon. I think all mine are black and blue, got little bubbles on them, and they're small. So I thought, well, that's got to be a whole lot cheaper. So I had a dozen jigs in there, and I took them in there, And the shipping price was the same amount. And I asked that guy, I said, does it not matter how? He's like, just depends on what it weighs. He said up to a certain thing, then we start taking into consideration the size. Because, you know, if I mail a box of jigs, they weigh it, then they put a tape measure on it. So not only getting charged for weight, but you're also getting charged for volume on how much it's going to take up in that route carrier. And I've gotten to know the guy at the post office pretty good. And he's like, we pack these so tight that we actually account for the size of the packages going in there, because they got the same way everybody else was. They couldn't keep enough employees there. So they had to overload all these trucks and had to come up with some kind of formula on how much they could put in it by the measurements of the packages and stuff. And if I understood right, that was why the price of shipping rods went up so much, is because they took up so much room, more so than the weight of them.
I think envelopes too, it's a 1/4 inch or less is where you kind of want to, thickness is where you kind of want to stay with them too. A lot of the jigs that I've sent out in the past, I use the padded envelopes. I just make sure that they're not over a 1/4 inch. So those usually work all right. And then it's all on how you want to pack it. So,
and I put them in the little clear plastic bags too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt over at Wannabe Outdoor says it's just like underspins. A buddy of mine said he can't make underspin jigs a certain way because of the trademark. Now I know that,
and he's talking about too. That one, everybody knows about that one, and I don't know how, and I don't know who was the one that got in trouble for that one, but everybody knows you can tie it, you can paint it, you can sell it, but it better not have that name, and you probably shouldn't even mention that name when you're on that one.
There's a big company out there that makes might have Magnet in their name. They have a jig head that you can buy the molds for, but you can't sell them. As soon as you start selling them, I've heard horror stories that people on eBay get chased down by that company. So those little dart head jigs, but you can buy the molds, you can make them yourself. Yeah, it's not a problem. So
even with the plastic baits, when I was doing the plastic baits and I got into some of the bass baits, they would send you a letter with that mold saying this person, this company owns the trademark to this name. Don't name it that, or you'll get in trouble. And it was a SE. It was just a straight little bass worm. You know, most people probably know what I'm talking about. I don't even want to say it because I don't know. I don't want to get y'all in trouble and don't want to get myself in any more trouble either.
Well, you know, you start with companies like the one I mentioned and the one you're talking about without naming them. They got deep pockets, so they'll do everything they can to protect.
But I don't need it now.
Making them a lot of money.
Yeah.
Open it. You're supposed to open it on the show.
Lyle got a special delivery.
Yeah, I guess.
This should be interesting. Real quick, Jeremy corrected me. He says Google is actually a kind of a word that refers to a number. Googleplex, really big number with lots of zeros. I believe it's 100 zeros. Thanks.
I'm really not understanding this because I ordered these, or what they're supposed to be anyhow, or I told you about the moles in my yard, the little things that I put in the ground that are solar operated, and they put out a vibration or a sound or frequency or something, and all the moles disappear. And that's the only thing I've ordered from. So I don't know why I need to open it up. But, well,
somebody needs to do a drum roll.
Do we give Lyle the solo layout?
I'm almost afraid of this for some reason.
I'm sure if I don't, I'll get a lot of grief for not giving it to you.
I feel like I know where this comes from.
Creel says it's Doctor. He mailed himself to Lyle.
Yeah, well, he fit in the box, but hang on.
Have a good night, Aaron. Sorry we missed you when you came in. Lance McCougai, what's going on, Lance? How you doing?
In my box is suckers, and the suckers are Josh and Chad and James. Dude, you think he's going to get over on me like that? Come on, man. 3 suckers right here.
They got to have green on them because we can't see them, Lyle.
That's okay. They're suckers, believe me. They are sour carnival pops. 3 suckers. They tried to get over on me and I was looking for this package of them solar things and found the package, and I thought, what the hell? Why is she hiding this from me? I need these to get them in the damn yard, and it wasn't them at all. But that's okay. I come out on top this.
There you go. Who sent those to you, Lyle?
I don't know, but it was the Three Stooges for sure. But anyhow, I got the last laugh this time.
There you go.
And I'm sure I'm getting emojis. But it's okay.
You sure those suckers aren't copyrighted?
No, I'm not sure, and I don't care.
Just
Hey,
don't name.
Dan Thompson. Go ahead.
So what are you fishing for tonight, Eric? Just anything that bites? What are you using? What are you doing?
I got 2 rods out for crappie and 2 rods out for catfish. 1 channel cat down. I just missed a good bite on that one. Actually, I let him pull until he came off of it. 1 white bass in the live well so far, and 1 pretty decent sized channel cat.
Nice.
It's going to be a bad night. I think when the sun goes down, gets a little darker, I think they're going to turn on a little bit. I hope.
Josh says the old man just one-upped us. I'm duly impressed.
I'll tell you how that happened. I did order those things to go in my yard, and I got a notification that it was being delivered today. I did not know it was the package from them. I thought it was the package that I actually ordered, and it said it was delivered. So I'm looking all over the place for it. I went in there and I said, "Cindy, where's my package from Amazon?" She said, "You know it's here?" I said, "Well, yeah, I know it's here. Give the damn thing to me." I said, "I need to get them in the ground because the moles, they're green. When the grass gets tall, I mow over them all the time. So I have to continually replace them. If I mow over them, you got to buy more. But they get rid of the moles. And I wanted to get them in the yard because I'm starting to get moles again. And I was getting a good case of the red ass because she had them over there and I didn't know they was here. I was looking all over for them. And it wasn't them at all. It was something from them guys. Those guys. But regardless, it worked out for me this time. May not next time, but it did this time.
So, Eric, what else you got going on as far as your jigs and stuff go?
Just doing videos, doing TikTok videos, and odd and end things around the house that I haven't done for a long time. Fishing, guiding. I like to get more guide trips going. I think a lot of people don't only think that I'm doing it on the weekends, but I can do it 5-7 days a week.
So where so the people know where to contact you and where you're guiding at, whether it's the people here in chat on YouTube or the people on the audio side of the podcast. Why don't you let them know?
I had to take Facebook Messenger off of my iPhone because my iPhone's gotten old enough to where it can't handle it. So I'm not getting. I can't update my phone anymore because of the apps and all that stuff. Actually, it's iPhone telling you got to go out and buy a new iPhone. Once you can't get the updates anymore, so I had to start deleting apps. So Messenger is on my tablet, so I don't get that. A direct phone call, a text message. If you go to my YouTube channel, my phone number's on there somewhere. That's how the guy from New York found it. I don't know. Does it show it on there?
I can take a look. Feel free to give out. You got an email or something people can email you?
Massey1204@gmail.com. That's the easy way because I'm always back and forth on my emails. I'm in my emails several times a day.
How much guiding are you doing? I know not enough, but do you do all day trips or half day trips?
I usually do like 6 hours, but usually we're having a good time and it goes past 6 hours most of the time, or it might go less than 6 hours. It kind of depends on the person that's in the boat. If they're they get a limit and they want to be done in 5 hours or 4 hours, we'd be done in 5 hours, 4 hours. I mean, it don't matter. Sometimes you've got to tell me when to quit, because when I'm fishing, you know.
Yeah.
And trying to put people on fish, I don't give up. I won't quit. And I'm afraid I've had people out that have been like, man, this guy needs to hang us up. I want to say done, you know. But yeah, I can do nighttime crappie fishing trips, cat fishing trips, daytime crappie fishing trips. I mean, it's whatever they want to do. White bass.
Is that shed busting behind you over there?
They are all over the place. Like
Well,
I said,
it's big enough in that small screen. I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, and you ought to see it. I'm looking out toward the main lake this way, and it is just tons of schooling. They're not little bitty shad. These are shad that should have been killed off in wintertime that didn't get killed off.
Didn't get cold enough, did it?
Yeah, it did not.
I can't think of really being too bad cold for very long. I don't think anything froze over this year.
Not that I can remember.
So they must have kept enough oxygen to keep going, because those are some really big shad out in the middle of the lake.
Well, I know you do a lot of crappie fishing and, pardon me, a lot of walleye fishing.
Yep.
I didn't know that you was guiding for how many lakes? Damn, how many lakes are you guiding on?
I will right now only do Palm de Terre and Stockton. And Stockton kind of on a limited thing. Anything over a 15-mile-an-hour wind, I probably won't go to Stockton. Stockton, right. I mean, it said people don't believe that, but a 10-mile-an-hour wind on Stockton Lake is a tremendous amount of wind. Sometimes that can be bad on Stockton.
Yeah.
15, 20, I don't do nothing on Stockton Lake when it gets that windy.
That's another good place to get shad.
Yeah, the walleye on guided trips, I'm not 100% sure I could keep people on walleye. That's one of those things where put you on channel cats, though.
Let's make it a good fishing show. Just keep catching them.
That's another pretty good one too.
Good deal.
We got John Solo, Eric. While Eric's reeling in his fish, I listed Eric's email in the chat. I also listed his YouTube channel. He's got all his contact information on there if you need to look for him. If you want to fish in the great state of Missouri with a guy who can put you on some fish, make sure you contact Eric Massey at Massey, MASSEY1204 at gmail.com.
And while Eric's reeling in that fish, Mark, I would like to mention that any of the people that are present-day military or veterans can go to Catfish Weekly's YouTube channel, our Facebook page, the group page. Nice fish, Eric.
There we go.
They're clean.
Yeah, they are. They haven't spawned at all.
Nope.
Just don't deeter them. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
He did me.
No,
nasty. But yeah, go to the group page on Facebook if you're military and sign up. We have a heck of a giveaway coming up. Rod, reel, all kinds of stuff's going to go to one lucky guy, and there'll be some other stuff besides that. Fish and tackle of all kinds, fish and line. Whoever wins is going to be set up with everything he needs just to go fishing. Go sign up for it.
That's a great prize. Thank you to Richard Ward for doing that too.
Absolutely.
Maybe Josh or one of the mods out there could go over to the Catfish Weekly page and get a link to that post so we can make sure whoever hasn't
Let me see. I think
signed up for it, we're good. How you doing, Jody? Pontoon Jody Catfishing just joined us. What's going on? Want to be outdoors, Matt says. Eric, I sure miss your plastic, sir. I'm running low, and unfortunately, I got to look elsewhere now. They sure slay all the species.
Yeah, everything with the plastics. I completely sold all that stuff. Jason Brummel's the guy to go to. That's who I go to.
Yeah, Jason's got it going on with a lot of stuff. If you're looking for massive amounts of jigs, say you want to buy 5,000 at a time, he's your guy.
And how would you know that, Lyle?
Because I did that. Ask Eric. Eric powder-coated them all.
Doing that.
Eric powder-coated every one of them for me.
I did not mind doing that at all.
Oh, that's a lot, though.
It was a lot, but when you break it down, you figure out how many you need to do. And I know you said you wasn't in a hurry, but to me, it's there. It needs to be done. So I'm going to try to beat records. I'm going to, let's do this many today. I take a day or so break, and then I'd come back and say, think, let's see if I can do this many. And it really wasn't that bad. I mean, once you get a good rhythm going, it's easy to do. Simple. I mean, you can fly through them.
Yeah. James Dockery.
James Dockery in chat says, will Eric start a YouTube fishing talk show when he gets too old to fish like the other two up on panel? What's up, James?
Shit disturber. In 2 words. Just like his 2 brothers. They make the 3 Musketeers look minor, don't they? Oh man. I don't know what I'm going to do with them guys, but something for sure.
Not nothing. Just let them be.
I guess.
They make you laugh. Why not?
They do that. Oh man. If I could show you guys some of the things that's in that chat. That messages over that. My. So when you're not guiding, how many days a week do you fish just for you and your son?
We usually, me and one of my boys will fish 2-3 times a week probably. And usually it's we go fishing, but I'm also like kind of on scouting missions at the same time. Like sure. I go, I check to see if the walleye were still where they were last year. Then I'll go hit a couple new spots. In the state of Missouri, we're on Stockton Lake. I'm pretty sure almost all lakes in Missouri, like you're only allowed 4. And if they're biting, you can hit those 4 pretty quick. So if I can get, usually get my limit or pretty close to it, then I'll go find some other areas that I'm curious about and I want to know. Before when I didn't have enough time, you had to go hurry up, try to get them out of this spot, get your limit, get home and get the other things done. I can space that out a little bit more now. So I can go out and check lakes and see, are the crappie better at this end, versus what I've been fishing? Because when you get yourself hooked into fishing one spot and only having a certain amount of time doing it, you rush yourself through it. You don't realize how much you rush yourself through it.
Right.
So I can go hit other spots now. I can check other lakes. I can go with only I haven't been to Truman this year. Stockton and Palmy's really been the only 2 I've been on. Truman, man, I just have a love-hate relationship with Truman Lake. Look at those arcs. I've been arcs more this year than I have ever.
Do you have your bad times up there when you're crappie fishing or catfishing? Yeah. Or
Truman is just enough of a drive to where it's going to suck up a pretty good day. If you're going to go fish Truman, my day's almost done. It's an hour, 15 minutes, something like that. When you drive all the way up there, the fish are biting good, and all of a sudden, boom, they stop the water flow at the dam, or they start the water flow at the dam. You can go from the best bites you've ever had to just like that. It just totally stops and shuts down. And it seems like every time we get to Truman, it seems like it does that a lot when we get there, not paying attention to what they're generating at the dam. My dad was always a big follower of checking dams. Before we'd go fishing, he was on the phone listening to all those recordings, and he knew what all those lakes in Kentucky were doing before we'd even go. So he would know, no, we're not going to go this weekend. Yeah, get ready. We're going tomorrow morning. He knew, he kept up with that, and I don't really keep up with that as much as what I should.
No, I don't either. And I have all the websites where you can just click on them and it pops up and tells you everything you need to know. But if there hasn't been any water flowing in a long time, you probably can do fairly well. Yeah. But if it has been, they shut it down, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And if they just start it up, sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But you got a better chance of catching catfish, especially if the water is flowing on Truman.
I really think, like the later months of August, September, when everything's kind of dry, the rain's kind of died off, the lake's stabilized, the lake's level, been that way for, 3 or 4 weeks. To me, that's when I'll do the best at Truman. And I think into the winter months, I don't really fish it a lot in the wintertime, but I bet the wintertime's probably really good when they're not really generating that much water out of that dam.
A lot of times, yeah.
Palmy, don't seem like Palmy gets affected a whole lot by the drawdown when they're letting water out. I mean, I know it slows it down some, but I don't think it's affected quite as much as Truman is for whatever reason.
No, I'm sure it probably is. Both good places to fish. I like, in the wintertime, I like fishing Lake the Ozarks. Right now is a little tough.
Yeah. Lake of the Ozarks. We've been doing pretty good at Lake of the Ozarks with the crappie, and I really want to go up there, starting this month into June when the bluegill go on and start making beds. There were some really good-looking coves back there that go up kind of deep, and then they're shallow, like 2 or 3 foot deep for, 40, 50 yards that just look like unbelievable bluegill areas. And I'd really want to go up there and try to hit that. And I think I've been going far enough down that end of the lake to get away from that really big boat traffic.
Once I put in at what's the one up there, the side of Camden on 54?
Yeah, that's the same one I use.
Layer Gales. From that towards the middle of the lake is my favorite. I can fish Warsaw and get away that area pretty good, but anywhere between there, I like that.
Yeah,
it less traffic. But the smaller end of the lake, you sure don't have near the big boats as you do.
Yeah, we come out of Larry Gale, we go like off to the left, and then that big arm, there's a big sign there that says what arm that is, and I can't think of what arm that is, but that's one.
Osage, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it says something else besides Osage right there when you turn into that one big long branch.
I might.
I think there's maybe it did say Osage arm.
But that's a great area up there to fish. I like that. But the Osage arm is the one that runs to Warsaw all the way down through there.
Yeah, the scenery.
It's beautiful down through there. And periodically there is some boat ramps that you can go to. And right now you can use any of the boat ramps. There's plenty of water.
Oh yeah, plenty of water.
Last year, not so much.
Yeah, but yeah, the houses on Lake of the Ozarks are unbelievable. I mean, it's going and just, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Some of those houses that are on Lake of the Ozarks.
There's some of them houses are worth more than the whole town of Buffalo.
Oh, and Bolivar too.
There's some pretty high dollar boats out there too, from what I've seen.
There is.
Looks like watching Miami Vice when it's really busy out there. Some of those boats.
Exactly right.
That's what I'm talking about.
50-foot long, running 95 miles an hour down the lake.
Yeah. I don't know how they poured gas for them. Or diesel, whatever it is they're burning. I don't know how they poured it.
I don't know how they do either. And
Joe Buck 66 has been a member for 18 months. We need to acknowledge him. He says he's running a little late. Thanks for stopping by, Joe.
Absolutely. Appreciate everything you do for us.
Chad's got a question for you, Lyle. He says, Pops, are you wearing any special gifts that you've received?
I don't know what you're talking about. I got suckers.
Is there something else in that box that you didn't see?
No. Suckers. Chad, Josh, and Jane. They're just like what's in a baby's diaper. And you should change them often for the same reason, I'm beginning to think.
So maybe this is a good time for me to remind the people in chat, if you got some pictures that you want to donate to the beginning of the show, we'd appreciate it. You can email those panfish pictures or any pictures if you want them added to mark@catfishandcrappie.com. I'll add them to there. I got it about halfway done, but I could use probably twice as many pictures. Thanks to everybody that sent pictures so far. I appreciate it. So I look forward to getting those from you. Once again, just send them pictures to mark@catfishandcrappie.com, and I'll get that put together for next week's show, hopefully.
Eric, you probably got some pictures you can send him.
What'd you say, Lyle?
I said, Eric's probably got some pictures he could send.
Oh, we can get some.
I'll do that tomorrow morning. I'll make sure you get some.
Sounds good, bud.
But if you got any of them great big crappie we was talking about earlier with your boy holding them up, I'd like to see them.
I got those pictures somewhere. Those ones we caught at Caplinger Mills.
Wow.
Danny Stone says, taking the kids fishing this weekend going to be crowded because it's free fishing weekend in Missouri.
Nice.
It is too. I think I've seen something about that.
They do that every year, and I think that's one of the better things. I know people complain about everything that the DNR or whoever in whatever state you're in, whoever is over top of the fishing regulations stuff, there's somebody bitching about something they're doing all the time. Personally, I am so proud of our conservation department in the state of Missouri that takes care of the laws and regulations. They don't do everything that I think they should, and they don't do them like I think they should a lot of times. But overall, they do a bang-up job, and they're not controlled by the Senate or the House of Representatives of the state of Missouri. Department of Conservation in Missouri is its own entity.
Yeah,
they're doing a really good job. So if you complain about buying license and things like that, look at all the good things that they do, like free fishing weekend, tournaments and stuff for kids, classes that James and Katie teaches. A lot of that is free, don't cost you a dime. And that's where your money from your fishing license and the very little bit of revenue they get off of taxes, it's like 8% or something. That's where that money goes to doing things like that. So
enough people don't on some of those free programs that they do here in the state of Missouri, and I think more people did that. It might open doors to other programs and stuff like that also.
That's exactly right. I like I say, they don't do everything that I think they should. I'd love to see them restrict things on the Mississippi River. They'll never go into confrontation with the state of Illinois. For what life of me, I don't understand it. Illinois state's broke. Now's the perfect time to go in there and tell them to kiss my ass.
Yeah,
they won't do that, and we'll never get regulations on Mississippi River until people suck up and tell Illinois to shove it up their ass. Never going to happen. I don't care what people do. It's just not. It's not going to happen. But they're not going to do it, and I got it. But keep doing what you're doing, because when they do a study to make sure that they need regulations here or that, it's a 5-year study. And at the end, they are convinced they've made the right decision. And most of the time, I'll agree with them. Not all the time, but most of the time I will. And our Department of Conservation, Eric, as you know, is one of the most revered in the whole United States. They're looked up to by every other state in the union, and they do a bang-up job.
Yeah, and I think
I help them any way I can.
I think they got a very thankless job for the few people that do want to complain about not being able to break the rules, or the people that actually got caught doing something they're not supposed to, and then they're the first ones that,
they're the ones that complain the biggest. Yeah.
A lot of your problems can be solved by opening that book, read that book, look for new regulations, see what's come out, And if you see a game warden and he wants to check your license, have a conversation with them. You'd be surprised at how friendly some of these game wardens are that are checking your license. Some of them want to sit there and just talk to you and see how your day is going. Are you happy with the fish that you're catching? Have a conversation with them.
I would much rather see them out checking me for my license and stuff, which I don't have to have, by the way.
Yeah.
But I would much rather see them checking people than sitting in a car riding around not doing anything and drawing the same check.
Yeah. Yep.
They got nice boats. They're not fancy usually, but they got nice boats. They have all the stuff. I would like to see the judges step up their things when they give out fines. Say a guy has slot limit fish. Whatever the maximum sentence that is for not applying to those regulations, double.
Yeah.
Because they're not. All they're doing is slapping, the judges are slapping these guys on the wrist and say, don't do that. Well, that's never going to stop it. It's never going to stop. You got to make them pay.
Yeah.
Make a
When you
few
get in your hip pocket, people understand.
Yeah, they do. That's a fact too.
But
Crappie
yeah,
Dave
conservation-
Fishon says he agrees with you, Lyle. Missouri is set up better than most states in the DNR.
I agree. I'm very proud of what we have here. They do a great job. Like I say, they don't do everything I think they should. I'm good with that because I don't do everything they think I should. So it works out. I have a former conservation agent. If I look out this window right here, I can see a swimming pool in the backside of his house. He retired last year. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
I
There was
asked him a question.
Buzz that was really, really good guy too.
Yeah. We have a younger guy now. He stopped me fishing. I'm trying to think. It's not Big John's. It's on out further than that. A little place, Charity. I was out there on the boat ramp fishing one day. Had the truck back right down to the water. It's in the middle of the week. Nobody's out there with me, and he come up there and checked me. And we had a conversation, and I was shooting video and asked him if he'd like to be in. He said, "No, I can't do that. I'll get approval," and I knew that. But it doesn't hurt to ask. But yeah, you can't. Yeah, they have to be approved in the state of Missouri. You have to get approved for them before they can be in any kind of video or anything.
I think I know which game one you're talking about too.
Probably so. Nice kid. Nice.
Extremely nice.
Yeah.
And if it's the same one I'm thinking about, I was right out here on this lake out in the mouth of this cove, and there was a guy in a beige Ranger boat, dual console Ranger boat, standing there watching me fish. Me and Zach was fishing, and he come pulling up, and we're still just fishing. Well, when he got right beside us, I noticed he had a green uniform on. And at first I said, "Well played." And he kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Nobody expects a game warden in a Ranger boat, man." I said, "You've got the perfect cover up." And he kind of and that's the one I'm talking about. Me and him sat out here a couple of times and just had a conversation for a while.
Up home, the guy that used to be up home, Mike, I would fish through the week a lot up there too, and he'd stop me 3 or 4 times a week. It really wasn't stopping. He come up, tie up to my boat, and we just sit there and visit,
Yeah.
But to make it a legitimate thing where he could put it in his paperwork, he had to check people out.
Check
I said,
license.
"Hey, man, you know I got him." But we'd sit there and talk about tournaments and fishing and regulation, and he'd say, "I can't talk about that."
Yeah.
And we'd talk about that. Very nice. And the first go round I had with him was, as time went on, we both kind of got over it. Like I say, if I was fishing 3 or 4 times a week, and I think he'd drop his boat in just to go see where I was at, because he'd pull up and he'd say, "Hey, how you doing? Catch any fish?" I said, "Well, whatever we done," and he'd tie his boat up to mine. We'd sit there sometimes for an hour or more, and just have a good time, So kind of like them days. Of course, at that time, I don't think I knew James Dockery. If I had him, he'd probably shot me in the head or something. Oh man! So what do you got planned to go to from here on out, Eric? You got any big plans coming up?
I really don't. No big plans. Follow the fish, try to see what's going on. Yeah, I really don't have much going on. I'm going to see about getting YouTube back up and running the way I want it to get it going. And it seems like sometimes YouTube's just kind of hit or miss. I get discouraged with YouTube. I'm pretty sure, everybody that does something on YouTube all get discouraged with it at times. Sometimes you just want to throw the towel in and give up.
Yep.
It's one of those things. I don't think a lot of people understand that like button, how much that like button means to YouTube.
Subscribe.
Unbelievable. That like button can change somebody's YouTube channel. So, I remind everybody, if you're watching right now, hit that thumbs up, like them. If there's somebody on YouTube you like watching, hit that thumbs up. Let them know, let YouTube know that you enjoy watching that content, because that helps. Right. That helps that guy doing that, whatever on YouTube. YouTube pushes them, kind of helps them out a little bit, and they know that. So, like I said, hitting that like button means a lot.
and we all need it. I mean, anytime that we can get our names out in front of more people, it helps any channel that's trying to do better things. So,
It
uh,
don't cost anything to hit that like button.
no, it just takes a second. It's not like it's a hard job.
Even if you're on TV, I know somebody told me, well, I can't do it because I watch it on TV.
Come
You
on.
go up,
Yeah.
click up, click to the right. This is how many times I've done it. Click up, click to the right. I think twice, and then hit that, and that'll give that channel a thumbs up.
I'll tell you something else that helps people don't realize. If you have a comment that you like to say something on these videos, say it. Make a comment.
Yeah.
That tells YouTube that you care enough about that channel to make a comment, number one. And number two, it lets the guys that are doing the videos or the shows or whatever, that they're doing something that you like or something you agree with or don't agree with. And it's another way to interact with the people that you're dealing with. And I think that there should be a lot more of that. I try to comment on all of the videos that I enjoy.
I do too. And I love that, posting a video, getting up the next morning and there being 20 comments on it. I like going through them and read them. I like seeing people say, hey, next time do this. Next time try that. I do this. I do that. Yep. I enjoy that. I do. I try to answer every single comment that I ever got on my YouTube channel. I always try. I put forth the effort to try to get most of them. Some nights I was at work and I was going to get in trouble of being a supervisor, so I had to. There were some comments I wanted to comment on right away, but I couldn't because of the situation where I was at. I couldn't wait till the next morning. Sometimes I just forgot that comment was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But if you're working a full-time job like most of us did, it's a different deal.
Yeah. Yep.
Different deal. Well, Eric, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and going through everything we went over tonight. And there's a lot of stuff that's still out there that we can talk about, but we'll get you back on here and do that one of these days. Yeah, I appreciate you doing it, and I'm glad you stopped me in the parking lot over there. We had a great time.
I wasn't sure at first. I was like, man, that guy looks just like Lyle Stokes, and you kind of started grinning a little bit. I was like, yeah, that's Lyle.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I seen you walking across there, I knew it was you.
Yeah, you.
I didn't know if you recognized me or not.
Yeah. But I was like, man, that guy looks just like Lyle Stokes. And you cracked a little bit of a smile. Like, yeah, I thought that's who that was.
But, these things need to be brought out. And
they do. People need it. It don't sound like much right now. You come up with a jig and you just give it some generic name you thought of. Double check that. Make sure. Don't get yourself in trouble because mine could have been a whole lot worse.
And I really, the big
more weeks would have been really bad. Somebody else.
Yeah.
My mistake.
The big point of that whole situation with me, of course, I'm not dealing with it as you are, is that guy could have handled it a little more tactful.
He could have handled it a whole lot different. And the matter he got, the matter I got, and then I just started feeding off of him. And I'm pretty sure when he finally got done, him and his lawyer probably said that was the most sarcastic jackass I've ever met in my life because I worked him over. He set himself up for it. I did what he needed me to do. But, man, I run off at the mouth at him for quite. My wife, shut up, stop, quit, stop.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the day, I might have been making a road trip. I might have been on my way to New York.
I understand completely.
That's how mad I was.
Yeah, me too. I understand. I just sometimes older things help you, and other times they don't. But it is what it is. But thank you so much for coming in the show and helping us out tonight. We appreciate it. You're always a great guest, and you're welcome anytime. And
anytime I do say it, I'm on. I'll come on anytime.
We appreciate that. And if you get on them bluegills hit them nests, let me know.
Next week I'll be after them.
Yeah, I think next week will probably be when they're hit it. I got the boat all ready to go, so as soon as they hit, I'm ready to get after them.
Well, if you decide you're going one day, you send me a message, let me know. I won't be far behind you.
That works for me. We'll have a good time for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Always good talking to you, Eric. 100%.
Hey, Mark.
You got anything to close out with, Mark?
We got Catfish Weekly on Monday nights. Tuesday nights you got Creole and Roger's show. Wednesday is us again next week. Chad will be on tomorrow with Dustin afterwards. So Fields to Water, and then over to Dustin's channel. You got 2 stands Friday night, 7 p.m., and then Jody's fishing afterwards. And there's probably a tournament or something happened during the week. So
I'm sure there's something going on this weekend. I don't know what
weekend.
it is, but there's always something going on the weekend. And
other than that, I think we got it all covered.
I think so too. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate you watching. If you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do so on your way out. We'll see you next Wednesday night.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys.